Imagine being held captive by a group of ruthless terrorists, with your life hanging in the balance. But instead of treating you with contempt and disdain, your captors start to show you kindness and compassion, even going so far as to protect you from harm. This may seem like a fantastical scenario, but it's a real phenomenon that has been observed in numerous hostage situations around the world. It's known as the Lima Syndrome, a psychological phenomenon that is the inverse of the more well-known Stockholm Syndrome. While Stockholm Syndrome refers to the phenomenon where hostages develop a psychological alliance with their captors, the Lima Syndrome is where the captors develop a sense of sympathy and affection for their hostages. In this video, we'll delve into the fascinating world of the Lima Syndrome, exploring its history, causes, and implications.
Beyond the edge of light, where the truth is hidden, next era.
The Lima Syndrome is a relatively rare phenomenon, but it has been observed in several high-profile hostage situations. One of the most notable examples is the 1996 Japanese embassy hostage crisis in Lima, Peru, from which the syndrome gets its name. In this incident, a group of Marxist rebels took hundreds of people hostage, including diplomats, politicians, and businessmen. However, as the standoff dragged on for several days, the rebels began to show a softer side, providing their captives with food, water, and medical care. Some of the rebels even formed bonds with their hostages, with one rebel leader reportedly becoming particularly fond of a young boy who was being held captive. So what causes the Lima Syndrome? One possible explanation is that the captors begin to see their hostages as human beings, rather than just pawns to be used in their game of cat and mouse. As they interact with their hostages, they start to develop a sense of empathy and compassion, which can lead to a breakdown in their initial hostility. This can be particularly true in situations where the captors are not professional terrorists, but rather amateurish or idealistic individuals who are motivated by a sense of ideology or grievance. As they get to know their hostages, they may start to question their own motivations and the morality of their actions. Another factor that can contribute to the Lima Syndrome is the psychological phenomenon of cognitive dissonance. This refers to the feeling of discomfort or tension that arises when an individual holds two or more conflicting beliefs or values. In the case of the Lima Syndrome, the captors may experience cognitive dissonance as they struggle to reconcile their initial desire to harm or intimidate their hostages with their growing sense of sympathy and affection for them. As they try to resolve this dissonance, they may start to reevaluate their actions and motivations, leading to a shift in their behavior towards their hostages. The Lima Syndrome can also be influenced by the dynamics of the hostage situation itself. For example, if the hostages are able to establish a rapport with their captors, they may be able to create a sense of mutual understanding and respect. This can be particularly true in situations where the hostages are able to find common ground with their captors, such as shared interests or experiences. As the captors start to see their hostages as individuals with their own thoughts and feelings, they may begin to question their initial assumptions and stereotypes. In addition to these psychological factors, the Lima Syndrome can also be influenced by the social and cultural context of the hostage situation. For example, in some cultures, there may be a strong emphasis on hospitality and respect for guests, even if those guests are being held against their will. In these situations, the captors may feel a sense of obligation to treat their hostages with kindness and respect, even if it goes against their initial intentions. This can create a sense of tension and conflict within the captors, as they struggle to reconcile their cultural values with their ideological or political goals. The implications of the Lima Syndrome are far-reaching and complex. On the one hand, it suggests that even in the most extreme and violent situations, there is always the potential for empathy and compassion to emerge. This can be a powerful tool for hostage negotiators and crisis managers, who can use the Lima Syndrome to their advantage by establishing a rapport with the captors and creating a sense of mutual understanding. On the other hand, the Lima Syndrome can also create challenges for law enforcement and military personnel who may need to navigate complex and unpredictable situations in order to resolve the crisis safely. In conclusion, the Lima Syndrome is a fascinating and complex phenomenon that challenges our assumptions about human behavior in extreme situations. By exploring the history, causes, and implications of this phenomenon, we can gain a deeper understanding of the psychological and social factors that drive human behavior, even in the most unlikely and unexpected circumstances. Whether you're a psychologist, a crisis manager, or simply someone who is interested in human behavior, the Lima Syndrome is a topic that is sure to captivate and inspire. As we continue to explore and learn more about this phenomenon, we may uncover new insights and strategies for resolving conflicts and promoting peace, even in the most challenging and difficult situations.